Kind of works for episode 40.
Episode
40?
40 of Bitcoin Liberty Live. We're back
Wow.
every week.
Holy cow, dude. Maybe
In
at some
sickness
point
or
we
in
should
health.
start promoting the show and inviting guests and talking to people.
I know. You'd think we'd have guests on. Well, I mean,
Excuse me.
we're both kind of sick. It'd be
Yeah.
easy to it'd be easy to invite like Travis sometimes, or just heck, if we did the Robin Sayre thing and I just was like, any Bitcoiner I know, and I reach out, hey, want to be on our thing? I don't know. Talk about
Yeah, we
whatever.
should. We'd have to get a little more regimented, I think. We're kind of loosey-goosey
Certain
with all
times.
this stuff.
Yeah, it's
we'll
like
just like set it up like it's 10 a.m. every Saturday or something, but we'd also have to set it up so like East Coast people. Oh, maybe we could invite Robin on.
He's probably sleeping right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Well, we could catch him at night, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do a nighttime one. That'd be funny. He's so busy now. He's probably he's famous now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's
like I'd like to, guys, love you, but I got Michael Saylor next week, so
Yeah, I've got important people to talk to. He has some really great interviews lately, man. Like he had the CEO on and this lady from Africa. I mean, he's doing. Oh God, the guy's doing great.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I hope he comes to Vegas. That'll be pretty fun. You gonna go to Vegas?
I'm fixing to. That's a new term I thought about. I'm fixing to. I should reserve now. I mean, the prices are better, and Vegas is easy. So
yeah, Vegas is pretty straightforward. Like I'll probably just drive to Vegas, dude, because it's it's right there,
Long day drive.
No, I don't know. Like, what do you think of the politics of the Bitcoin conference people, though?
I'm pretty tolerant about it. Welcome back, Johnny. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm kind of politically agnostic only from the standpoint that I trust the Bitcoin protocol so much that I don't care what swirls around it. I just know that Bitcoin will eat it up and progress.
Yeah.
So even when it came to like the ordinals, the one thing that, so all the politics, like the Bitcoin magazine, what's his face? I can't remember the names, but anyway, they're doing great work. They're connected to Trump. Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, fine. I know there's chatter about bullshit and all that. I have my opinions, but I also think Bitcoin don't care. A potential vulnerability, not vulnerability, but just sort of the less fragile attack vector really is like the distribution of the mining. Mining and the templates. I do want to see, I'd like to see Foundry not get 7 blocks in a row. I love it when lately we've seen a few solo miners hit blocks.
Yeah, which is huge. I love that. Solo Satoshi, those guys have been putting out all kinds of cool stuff. Like their new thing, and yeah, it's awesome.
And in Nashville at Bitcoin Park, they were mid-podcast when they hit one, and it was just this like awesome celebration. Like, and that was for a good cause too. It goes into their mining work and research, and I just love that stuff. But I love seeing when Ocean wins a block, anyone but like Antminer or Foundry. I want to see other people winning more blocks, and that's just. I still don't know that it's a real vulnerability for Bitcoin because I think nation states are gonna start eating up space there, but we're not quite there.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is right now, like, so there's so much hash concentrated in the United States and China. It's not great, man. And there was some guy on Twitter, I can't remember the account, was talking about OFAC sanctioned transactions. Looked like they were getting filtered by U.S. Miners, and that's a problem, man. I mean, like, if you have a censored network, then that's no bueno,
Yeah.
So I'm a huge proponent of like decentralized mining, just in the terms of like, what do you call it? What's the term for it when you do something not for the expectation of a reward?
Oh, just
the
integrity of it, or the
yeah, that's exactly
something
right.
Like that.
Yeah.
There's a word.
Yeah, but the whatever that term is that I can't think of right now because my brain is just farted out. that type of mining where you're just doing it to support the network. I hope
Yeah.
that really spreads. I think as I kind of progress on my Bitcoin journey, because I finished the book and I kind of realized like there's some voices out there that are just way better than mine at like talking about macro stuff. Like I mean, I'm not gonna. I wrote my book that sort of tried to give some historical context to some of these concepts. Even that, there's a couple holes in it. I mean, in terms of stuff like that. Altruistic.
Altruistic.
Thank you, Johnny.
Altruistic. That's
You're
what we were
good, man.
going
Thank
for.
you so much. God, I can't
Perfect.
remember that word for the life of me. But
Yes.
yeah, with altruistic mining, I hope that really, and that's going to be like a sort of one of those things. I think as I kind of continue down the Bitcoin path here, is like I'm going to really just push altruistic mining, and decentralizing mining, and making sure that hash stays in the hands of the people, not you know, the same goons that have been screwing us over for the last 100 years. For the win, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a group, a solo mining group on X that I chime into periodically and read. People have questions. Oh, my miner's doing something, or how do you do this? And somebody asked a question. Hey, I just bought a couple of solo miners. Should I join a good altruistic pool, or should I just solo lottery mine? And someone said, um, might as well join a pool for the little trickle of if you get any sats for anything, why not? To lotto mine, not worth it unless you're at like a petahash or something. Um, and the person responded, well, that seems kind of cynical, like no chance at all. And it's like, well, mathematically,
Yeah.
kind of like zero.
Well, it's
But
like 1 in a million, right? If you're
yeah,
running
but
like 5, 7 terahash or something, you're 1 in a million per 10 minutes.
yeah, but whether you're making $5 or $10 every few months, like joining a pool, it kind of doesn't matter in a way. But if you think of it from an altruistic standpoint, I just say, hey, lotto mine if you want. At least you're contributing.
Yeah,
And
100%. I
yeah,
agree with you absolutely, man. And that's, like, and companies like FutureBit, I mean, that's a pretty slick little contraption they put together. But Solo Satoshi and and BitAxe and all those people are making some really, really cool little baby miners that are like super easy to plug in. Doesn't take a lot of brain horsepower to get the thing rolling, and you're actually part of the network. I mean, it's like one thing to hold Bitcoin and go, yeah, I'm a holder, and stay humble and stack sats and all that kind of stuff. But if the network gets compromised because of censorship, then all that kind of goes out the window. And I actually had an opportunity to ask Adam back in person at BTC Prague and said, "Hey, man, what do you think about the problem of miner centralization and OFAC censoring of transactions and stuff like that?" And even he didn't have an answer. He goes, "Well, that's a big problem." I go, "Well, yeah, but what are we going to do about it?" And he goes, "Well, we got to figure it out." And like, while I'm all about like kind of hoping for the best and sort of, kind of rolling with the punches, I'm also a guy that likes to be prepared for stuff. And I mean, we were just talking off camera about buying lever guns and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't buy into the zombie apocalypse thing, but like making sure you got your ducks in a row, I think is important. And
yeah,
for something as important as Bitcoin is, if we're not going to take that seriously as Bitcoin holders, as early adopters, I think we got some soul searching to do. Because it's like I said, it's one thing to sit there and post on Twitter and talk about number go up and mega candles and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not contributing to the network, like at least running a node, bare
yeah,
minimum, but even
yeah. The
that's
more
not enough. We got to get that hash out there.
Yeah, it helps evangelize the concept of the altruism that people are like, oh, it's just not worth it. It's like, well, don't be thinking fiat. Don't be thinking like I want to make money.
Right.
No, mine for the sake of like run a node for the sake of running a node. Mine just for the sake of mining.
Yeah.
You'll learn something. It keeps your mind engaged. It's an outlet creatively in a way.
Yeah.
Technologically, you're thinking. Um, and yes, you're contributing. Does it matter that you added another um, gigahash or no, not really, but hey, what it is the spirit in the community of Bitcoin. The more people are talking about that and knowing that's a thing, I see more and more people becoming aware just because it's like in the news or on Forbes or sailors on Forbes. And people are like aware of it. So you see a lot of fiat monkey brains entering the space, attacking it from where's the yield?
Right.
And
Where's the yield? Exactly.
yeah, what's the yield on this? Where do I park my money? When million? And it's like, I get it, but, and people naturally start somewhere, but it's cringe. And the more that the community can be not toxic, but has that positive energy that we are contributing to a larger thing. And why? Here's why. Let's sit down and talk about all that because there's a lot to unpack. And what I tend to be hearing is, like the noise from the garlic bread house boys or the shit.
Yeah.
um, and it's like, well, so like, not to change the subject, Justin Beckler had been posting a lot lately about, criticizing the nature of the Bitcoin strategic reserve,
Oh yeah, yeah. He had a great
politics.
thread on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Really good write up. I don't disagree with him. I'm sure when you get to that level of politics, it gets dark in places. I want to trust Cynthia Loomis. I think her heart is definitely in the right place. Realistically, I don't think you can fix the fiat printer. I think the dollar's in a doom loop, so it kind of maybe doesn't matter. But hey, anything Bitcoin's good, even if it's sort of a captured weird U.S. government process of Bitcoin involvement. I don't really care. I'll take it. I'm happy to have more awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like Justin brought up some really, really good points on that thread. I was super impressed with that thread. I mean, he spent a lot of time working on it, obviously, and he was very thoughtful about that thread. But I to his points, like the likelihood, like if you were in command of like a superpower, and then to sort of just go, well, I'm just going to give away my superpower. And being the world's reserve currency is an absolute superpower. I mean, we've been able to offload so much domestic inflationary pressure by like, exporting dollars and getting stuff in return. But we're deflating those dollars as we do it. So every, commodity producer, every goods producer in the world that's not here in the United States gets absolutely decimated by that stuff. And so that's why it's been so incumbent that the Federal Reserve be responsible in the debasement of our currency, like not to deflate these people so fast that they start wanting to abandon the unit of currency, right?
Yeah.
And they haven't done a very good job of that. The only thing that's kept us solvent is the fact that there's no other game in town. But if another game comes along, like Bitcoin, for instance, that's going to be problematic for U.S. foreign policy. And so now we got this new administration kind of coming in and shaking that stuff up a little bit. But
Uh-huh.
the, the likelihood of the United States abandoning that, strategically would be an absolute blunder, like going to a fully, U.S. Bitcoin strategic reserve kind of thing. But
Yeah.
there's also some merit to the idea of like, well, you also don't want to be just sitting there with your ding dong in your hand and not having any Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
I mean, as long as we can kind of stay at the forefront of that, at least in terms of mining and Bitcoin innovation. But there's,
yeah.
Africa is coming on fast, and there was another guy I saw at Bitcoin Prague that was, he's an African Bitcoin developer, but he was saying, man, you got to understand, like, this is a young, young, young continent. And, there's the old guard that's been sort of fiat captured and they're sort of corrupt and all that kind of stuff. But this new wave of kids coming up, they're hungry, they're motivated, and they're learning fast,
Yeah.
and I think I've said it numerous times on Twitter. I think the world's sleeping on, or at least Bitcoin world is sleeping on Africa. So,
Yeah.
this power dynamics going to shift, but man,
People
I
that
don't
have people in countries that have experienced that horrible inflation, hyperinflation, and I think it'll in a way hit America at some point. But when they've experienced that, oh, Travis is on. Awesome.
Travis.
Welcome, Travis. We'll have to get you on live here, maybe with us here on the face.
Yeah,
Um, so there, people in other countries they've seen bad, dirty, apparent, obviously overtly dirty money. In America, we're sort of insulated from all of that because of propaganda and general lifestyle. But Young people in other countries, they're not like, well, what's it backed by? What's the intrinsic value?
Right.
Where's my yield? They just want harder money.
Yeah.
And so a lot of younger folks are getting it. Boomers that I run into, and and trad people immersed in the tradfi stuff, it's just too different, or it's just too volatile, too speculative, all that. And as far as the good ethos of the Bitcoin community as it comes on board with newcomers hearing the good stuff, I've got a metaphor. It's like the hobbits and the elves and the dwarves. We've got to unite for the good. Sauron, Lord of the Rings, if you know the whole story, J.R.R. Tolkien's books, Sauron is like the Federal Reserve, and they've got a ring of power, and they've just used it to turn Mordor into darkness and creep its way north. And Saruman, it's kind of like political leaders that are into crypto and are still fiat brain. And Saruman has a ring of power and wants to bend the power of Bitcoin his direction with his orcs or goblins he's growing too, perhaps. Now with Bitcoin, Bilbo found the one ring to rule them all. and so it's like sort of like when Bitcoin was very, very early, and and Bilbo just stumbled across it, and the story begins, and then it grows, and we start to unite around it, and then you realize this is the ring of power, the one ring to rule them all.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't have a battle ahead of us, but yeah,
Well, the thing is the only thing about that is like if the one ring had no holder, and that's the beauty of Bitcoin, right? Is it's like the supreme one ring that doesn't have anybody that can pick it up and go mine. Hey, we
yeah.
should send Travis a link, man.
Let me send one to you, Travis.
Books and taxes. What are you talking about, man? Fiat, man.
Political wise, what do you feel about this? What are we on day 12 of swamp draining? It appears to be a lot happening.
Well, I mean, like 95% of this stuff is going to get absolutely hammered in the courts. So I don't know, I mean, like it's fun to watch. The revocation of the security clearances was actually a pretty bold move, and that I think is going to stick. I don't think there's anything they can do about that. So that's just like a great big swift kick in the biscuits for the security state. Yeah, we all have to bend the knee, Travis. Larry Fink, Johnny, Larry Fink who's Larry Fink?
Well, BlackRock. So,
of course. I was thinking, who's the hustler guy?
So, geez. Well, there's David Sachs.
No,
There's a
no,
lot of them, but
the guy that had the hustler empire. I got that. I know Larry Fink.
oh,
Larry somebody.
that was another one. When I think of BlackRock, I mean, so imagine, say, someone like J.P. Morgan, Diamond, not Neil Diamond, Jared Diamond. We're sick and coughing here. If they were to turn their heads hard towards Bitcoin, I'd feel like no, I don't like their business practices, the big banks, their approach to things, their greed and power, and the disgusting criminal stuff they've done for years. If they turn their heads toward Bitcoin and want to get on board, I just don't see it as a threat. Or they want to try to control it. Okay, what are you going to do? Buy more of it?
No, what they're going to do is they're going to centralize mining and then force those guys to censor transactions in their favor. That's what they'll do. That's why mining is such a big deal, man. Everyone's got to spin up a miner.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's a huge
Travis,
deal.
I sent you the link. Emailed the link to Travis. Yeah, I just, not that I'm naive. I know there's aspects of threat to Bitcoin or attempts think they're going to co-opt it. I just don't see it as a true threat to Bitcoin TikTok next block. And okay, so say there's an arms race, a soft war, a massive adoption of Bitcoin in different ways. It's large entities getting on board, and there could be big players doing power play type stuff. If anything, maybe that just diversifies what's inevitable anyway.
Potentially. I mean, like, provided the Bitcoin network stays secure, and that's like Jeff Booth's sort of cornerstone component, right? As long as the network stays decentralized and secure, then amazing things will flow forth. The big issue we have is the trouble of Bitcoin not staying decentralized and secure.
Yeah.
And mining centralization, I think, is like one of the big, huge sort of unaddressed security vulnerabilities that the Bitcoin network has. The other one is sort of the concentration of power in Bitcoin Core. I think
True.
that's a lesser issue, but it's still a capturable entity at this point. And yeah, and as Johnny points out, like BlackRock has got a ton of mining exposure. I mean, like the natural, if you're a fiat brained super banker finance organization, your natural point of focus is going to be mining. Like the thing that you can most likely control, you're going to go for first, right? Hey, what's up? It's Radio. Welcome.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Travis?
Okay?
Welcome. So let's imagine, let's say China starts to, if they're not already, exerting controls over ant miner, ant pool, or foundry, or who knows what. I don't know.
100% do already. Like absolutely, without a doubt, they do.
Yeah,
because you don't operate in China without permission from the government, right?
Yeah. So let's say a couple of those big players are co-opted, start taking on 50% of the mining blocks getting mined. So someone like Trump or America, they're like, we need to get in on this. I'm like, great, diversify that a little bit. Europe or Russia or others want to get on it, and they're realizing that mining's where it's at as well, not just holding and stacking something other than gold or bricks or whatever they want to do, but they get on Bitcoin. They're going to quickly realize that mining is a key aspect of Bitcoin protections. So I see that even as big players get on and are like trying to do their own control or having their slice of the mining, even if there are a bunch of big players out there, the more big players, the better. I'd like to see an arms race if they're at least diversified and not all in agreement that they're going to, control it together.
Well, yeah, that's where the force of the U.S. government, NOFAC, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, as long as we're still beholden to a fiat system, they still wield a lot of authority. Let's introduce Travis. Hi, Travis.
Hola.
How's things?
I could be better because I don't know if I should be telling you this. I'm shitcoining right now.
What?
I feel so icky.
You don't know, Travis West is an OG Bitcoiner, super awesome guy.
So this is what happened. Let me explain.
Research.
He works for Swan, and he's now admitted to being an absolute shitcoin bastard.
Okay, let me explain, guys. Do you guys ever use Venice.ai?
No.
It's like
just ChatGPT.
It's like ChatGPT, but it's supposed to be like different. I don't know how it's supposed to be different, but it's supposed to be like more privacy, less guardrails, right? But it's like one of those AI things that you type and it does things for you, right? Like ChatGPT. So you've never used it, Venice.ai. So I use it all the time.
Yeah. And what, you just launched Venice AI coin or something? What are you doing?
So they're shitcoiners. So they just launched this coin, but they
airdrop
their users.
It's a scam, dude. What are you doing?
Hear me out. So I was just like, well, I'm a user, and I just like for shits and giggles logged in and see, I look, and it's like worth $900. I was like, this is free? What the fuck?
Dump.
So and it's dumping as all shitcoins do. Yeah. And so it's like, oh man, why wouldn't I just take this and sell it and get some sats, right? That was where my thought is.
Yeah.
But so I have to but you gotta have fucking gas fees, all this bullshit. And so it's just like I don't have any shit coins, right? So
you
I
do
accept
now.
this airdrop token, and so I'm trying to convert it into sats as fast as possible. And it's just shitty because I don't really have anything. I have a Coinbase account. I opened a Coinbase account to do this.
Oh my god.
And it's just so cringy, dude. All the I hate the website. I hate all the shit coining ads and it's just gross, man.
So people try to off ramp.
Yeah, trying to offload this free airdrop token. And
people who try to off ramp from Coinbase and sell their Bitcoin or move it to cold storage, it's like obfuscated and like, are you sure? And it like you gotta. It's like trying to find the exit in a casino. It's like it's smoky in here. I can't get the hell out of here.
Yeah, well, that's a spot on analogy too, man, because when you walk into Coinbase land, it's literally walking into the least regulated casino in the world right now.
It's easy to walk into a casino. It's hard to find your way out.
Yeah, and with all the shiny bells and whistles and all the haggard people smoking in front of the machines, you just go, plus free drinks, right? So
get that yield
immediately. Exactly, Johnny.
Yeah, I would say, don't trust
Venice AI. What, like the Venice coin?
They call it Venice token. Like no shit. I actually, my Coinbase account just received it. It's lost $100 of value during your podcast.
Yeah.
Let me see. It's dumping now.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Get on that exit liquidity, man. Go find that exit liquidity. Before you have none.
For 730. I mean, I didn't. Let's see. I think it worked.
How did they airdrop it to you? You had to have a wallet for it to go to, right?
Yeah, you because you have like a Venice.ai account that I already use, right?
Yeah.
And then you can just you have to connect a wallet to it. And so I had a Trust wallet on a tablet because I experiment with it. Just because I look at on-chain Bitcoin withdrawals all the time and try to assess if people are being scammed. That's kind of like what I do, right? And so I had a Trust wallet, and I would put Bitcoin in it and then swap it for shitcoins just to see what on-chain footprint it looked like, right? So, for example, Trust wallet will, when you swap to USDT on Ethereum on Trust wallet, it'll actually use the Bitcoin on-chain will look like it's going to it uses Thorchain, right? So it'll do a Thor swap, and you can actually see that on-chain. And so I was just doing those kind of experiments.
Thor's been having some issues.
I happen to have a Trust wallet app, right? Nice. And I don't recommend Trust wallet, by the way. Don't do that if you're a Bitcoiner. It's retarded.
Yeah, I used them once years ago, and it was like
Electrum, baby.
Travis, we're talking about security and mining and stuff, but you were part of a great interview write-up article about security, and it gets technical into the use of VPNs and addresses and timing and stuff, but I found it really interesting. I didn't.
Great article.
Yeah. Do you want to speak to a little bit about what brought you there, what you've learned, and what you shared?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm in a lot of different groups online that are focused on privacy, security, on-chain analysis, a bunch of chats, right? Signal chats and stuff. And I basically just had a conversation with someone. I don't even know who they are. They're just someone I chat with all the time online, right? Very cypherpunk style. And they sell a VPN service, and they release a lot of online privacy guides and stuff. And so that gentleman will pick my brain every now and then because I used to do cybercrime investigations. And so I share the tips and techniques that investigators use that they exploit to remove privacy online. Obviously, ideally investigators are trying to track down criminals and private property rights violators and stuff. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of examples out there of them abusing that, or they're going after people violating laws that shouldn't really be laws, money laundering and regulation related laws. If you aren't a licensed money transmitter, they're gonna and you're not like a big bank, violating those laws, then they're going to actually try to throw you in jail.
Yeah, it's
or prison.
crazy.
If you're a big bank, though, you don't really have to worry about that. You'll just get a fine.
Yeah, pay your fines.
Suit,
Doing business.
Cost of doing business, man.
Yeah, but if you wear a mask online, then you're gonna go to prison.
Yeah.
Well, just thinking of Ross, I mean, thank goodness he got out. Then it comes to mind, how about, what is Julian Assange's status? How about the samurai guys?
Well, Julian's free, man. He's out, dude.
He's out. Is his case done though, or?
Yeah. They there was something about the British courts, like there was some promise not to extradite or something, but he's out, man. Like he's done.
Yeah, he took a deal.
Yeah, and bailed. But Ross is out. I mean, Julian Assange, or not Julian? Who's the guy in Russia right now?
Snowden.
I'm still a little leery of Snowden. I have this working theory. It's probably hogwash, and you can laugh at me all you want. But I kind of looked at I don't know if you saw that whole thing with Glenn Greenwald back in the day when Snowden was first revealing this stuff, and they're doing all this
hotel room
dagger shit, and I gotta I mean, it was all this James Bond level shit, and you could see Glenn Greenwald was just like, he had a little reporter chubby for the whole experience. But I kind of looked at it I could just as easily see Ed Snowden as being a guy who was like an NSA guy, like a company man, and they go, hey man, all this stuff is going to come out, and we're going to get borked if it comes out. So we want to control the way this gets out. So how about we just have you do it, and you go off and create this big, and then once we can release it all, then we can just keep doing whatever we've been doing this whole time, because everyone's going to forget about it. It's going to be a big media splash. It's going to, and that's basically what happened, right? All this stuff came out, and then 2 years later, they're just doing the same stuff. I don't think they've stopped even to this day.
No.
So I mean, you can say, oh, he's an American hero and this and that, and he exposed all these secrets and caused all these reforms. And you could also go, well, he was just a guy that kind of came out from the NSA shadows and went, here you go, this is all we're doing now. I'll be the focal point of this little, hubbub, and I'll create this little persona of this person who's fighting for freedom. But meanwhile, I'm just kind of mag dumping something and then walking off into the sunset and hanging out in Russia for the next decade or whatever. So I don't know.
And not by choice. He basically knew he'd be put in quickly and probably disappeared. And I think he did what he had to do at the time, maybe to survive or just avoid prison.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty remarkable if you think about I'm just going to be this one solo guy who just happened to be this rando contractor at some rando, NSA contract thing. I'm going to expose all of the NSA's deepest, darkest secrets, and I'm going to avoid all capture and somehow manage to wiggle my way into the Russian embassy and all this kind of stuff without any sort of government support. And I go, well, or maybe he's just an NSA guy, So I don't know.
I trust, because he's active, and I think it takes a lot for him to be still not just going off to live his life, but to be pushing and tweeting and appearing virtually at Bitcoin conferences. I think his philosophy is all of integrity. Then it takes courage to do that.
Maybe. I mean, and maybe he's still on the NSA payroll is sort of my thing.
I don't think so.
I don't know. What do you think, Travis?
I think the information he leaked, they didn't want leaked.
I don't know. I mean, it's did you see the PowerPoints that came out? It was, I don't know, man. It looked like my sort of sneaking suspicion, and I'm probably wrong, I admit it, but when I look at it, I go, well, this stuff was going to come to light anyway, and at least this way they got to shape the narrative somewhat in their favor, or in directions that they might have wanted, rather than just having it dumped and sort of picked over by whoever, because if you have it publicly released to a news media site rather than having congressional oversight coming in and those guys clamping down on it from internally and making a big public spectacle of it, I don't know. It's my little fringe theory from off in the deep recesses of my paranoid little brain.
I think when all that popped and it was coming out and the information about it was propaganda too. I just don't think there was the political will or support to tackle that big deep state button. And so, like, earlier, like during the Frank Church committee, Church had a committee. There were a couple of things about the CIA and Vietnam and the NSA back in the 70s. And that took a senator to really push it and have hearings. And the NSA was doing so much horrible crap, and the CIA. And so when Snowden sort of popped and it was like new and it wasn't maybe verified, but the New York Times or whoever had like reported on it, it's like the political the political will just wasn't quite there to say, yeah, I am against that. It was kind of like, what's this? And it simmered. So
yeah, but I mean, what happened since then, though? Like,
well,
you've got the entirety of the Democratic Party is now beholden to the CIA, and all of our major tech companies are beholden to the CIA. And, all of that data collection is continuing to this day. And the FISA courts are still there, and all these apparatus are still in place. So what happened was a bunch of people went, "Oh, this is bad. We shouldn't do this." Oh, what's on now? Oh, do you guys see the game on Sunday? And it's just gone, dude. Like all that outrage and everything. Tulsi Gabbard was up to us talking about it today.
I was just going to say that.
But yeah,
there's questions over whether she'll get confirmed, largely because of like her even just past general support of what Snowden did. That okay, say Snowden broke laws, committed some, call it treason or whatever, but in doing so uncovered much bigger crimes. She wasn't even just overtly necessarily endorsing Snowden, but just saying what he did was good. And I'm wondering if she'll get confirmed because, the deep state's trying to protect itself as they scramble to not confirm cabinet members they don't like or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, a lot of that's like sort of Trump derangement syndrome, right? So
oh yeah,
it's hard to say. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a fun time to watch, Trump going in there with his chainsaw, he's pulling his little Malay moment, but we'll see how sustainable it is in the long term.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to keep this up because kind of day by day, it's been a lot of stuff day by day. Some of it's kind of superficial and like whatever, symbolic perhaps. I'll take it because it is definitely keeping, commies scrambling. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, I've been really enjoying the Trump stuff.
it's so entertaining.
And like the 2 weeks he's been president, it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. It's been like, oh yeah, he's like a bull in a china shop, dude. It's kind of cool to see. Like, I wasn't too impressed with his first term. So far, he's kind of coming out swinging. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens here,
Keep it up.
There's the whole legal process that a lot of this stuff's going to go through. What do you think about all that, the revocation of all the security clearances? I thought that was that was a baller move, dude.
Yeah.
For those folks that were
51 FBI agents.
Yeah.
Or not Rushgate. It was the Hunter Biden laptop being Russian propaganda. Yeah, that was. I support that. I support that move of revoking.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
They're abusing their security clearances. Like they're using their security clearances as like, you should believe me because of this, and they should be.
Yeah. Well, Kash Patel came out and said, "Hey, I mean, that was a Kash Patel suggestion. Like, hey, you really want to hammer these people? That's their multi-million-dollar ticket into the defense industrial complex, right? Like, having that security clearance is valuable, and the security clearance plus the connections. Now all they got is their Rolodex, right? And once they lost that security clearance, like that little cash payout at the end of their journey is gone. So that was pretty epic. I was pretty impressed with that one.
Yeah, they did. They had it coming. They deserved it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that whole thing was just the amount of scumbaggery that's going on in DC is pretty hard to fathom right now. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun to see what happens. I mean, all this stuff coming out with like the JFK stuff and everything. I mean, it's if we actually enter into a phase of just like absolute transparency and like the equivalent of the church hearings again in America now, it's going to be huge, man. And I agree with you, Johnny. I think he learned the hard way, especially after they took a pock shot at him. Like, I think he took that personally. I don't know how you couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
But like all those songs he was playing at the conventions and stuff were like, it was from that movie where like the theme of the movie was this presidential candidate. These people went and tried to assassinate him, and then he went back and hunted all these people down and killed them. Well, while those people were getting killed, that opera song that Trump was playing at all of his rallies was playing in the background of that. So I don't know if you can get a much clearer message than that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think that was just random and serendipitous. It was, I think it's messaging, and they're thinking at a level of chess. Not that they're all geniuses. Politics are clumsy. It's a big system, but I'll tell you, there's enough that tells you they're not just hatcheting around. There's a plan of execution that hopefully is a long one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And, well, I mean, if he just truly gets in there and actually drains the swamp this time, that would be just epic. Because last time he just surrounded himself with swamp creatures, and this time he surrounded himself with people that I hope and I pray. I'm going like, please let these people actually be the people that are going to come in and clean this rot out. Because man, it's nasty. So,
yeah, like they know what they're entering into now. Entering the gauntlet and what the multi-headed Hydra beast they're facing. I think they've got a plan of attack much more in their minds. Obviously, I was thinking about sort of like at those levels of government with the deep state and all that. It's like guilty until proven innocent. This is my cynical take on it. It's this idea like I feel like for me, so like as a citizen and the rights that we have as people, it's innocent until proven guilty, and that you got to have a good burden of proof. And there's times that crappy people or people that have done stuff go free because you need to honor the process of law and evidence. For me, I came up with this kind of an authority biased burden of proof scale. So like the higher that an entity has in power and authority, the lower necessary burden of proof is required for presumed responsibility or guilt. And so like at these higher echelons of power in the deep state, I feel like the burden of proof is way lower.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a fair take. I don't know. What are you doing these days, Travis?
Well, I made like $700 some bucks on that shitcoin, and now
my God,
account it's
that's right,
zeroed out, guys. I withdrew it as cash to my bank account just so I can say I don't have anything on Coinbase.com. Other than that, no. I today I'm just working on my books for my hotel, and I have to prepare all my taxes.
Oh yeah.
So okay. That's why I'm here at my laptop.
Yeah, how's things over at Swan?
Good. I've been super busy.
Have you?
Very busy.
Yeah.
And, so next Tuesday, I'm flying to El Salvador.
Oh, for what?
Yeah.
Just cause?
Funsies.
Just for funsies? Why didn't you go for the Plan B thing, man?
I actually didn't know about Plan B until I started.
Oh, really? Yeah. Me neither.
It's a coincidence that I picked a lot next week. But I'm taking my whole family, so nice. All 4 kids and the wife. And it's exciting for me because the kids they're like 13 and below, and none of them have flown on a plane or gone outside the country or swam in a warm ocean.
Yeah.
Been to a third world country, right? It's going to be a lot of new experiences for them. And so I'm all for it. It's going to be fun to see them react. Even their reaction to airport security. Like I'm excited to see how they react to everything.
Yeah. What the hell is all this? Hopefully they're not paying attention to airplane news lately. Before we dive into any of that, what do you think of the IMF El Salvador, changing of terms of medium of exchange and Bitcoin payment stuff? There was some hubbub over El Salvador, like bending the knee to the IMF a little bit to, they can't spend the money on Bitcoin or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh,
yeah. I've heard some interesting takes on it, and I don't really know exactly what the law is, but based on what I've read from some folks that are down there, yeah, it sounds like I've read that they're not allowed to buy Bitcoin with it, even indirectly, but maybe they'll buy a bunch of miners or something. That I think that would be kind of like indirect, like it's probably far enough from Bitcoin, but No, I don't know what they're going to do with that money, and I don't really know. We'll see. I was never actually a fan of that law to begin with, to be fair. Like, I don't really like the idea of forcing
legal tender laws on Bitcoin
businesses or whatever, to accept payments. I like the idea of like it's a free market for money. You can just may the best money win kind of thing.
Yeah,
and it would be slower for sure, right? But
but more in line
like that. It'd be cool if you could pay taxes there and pay for your entrance fee, in Bitcoin. So I don't know if that's going away. I'll let you know because I'm gonna be there next week. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear because I'd heard things about how they can't collect taxes in Bitcoin, or they can't do their government transaction stuff in Bitcoin, and they had to change terminology and stuff in their laws. And some of it sounds superficial, like they're still buying Bitcoin, they can still use plenty of Bitcoin.
Yeah, they just bought 5 Bitcoin a little bit ago.
Yeah, like 5 more or something, right?
So I don't know. Like I wasn't a fan of like the force, but I don't know if I'm kind of holding out and seeing what Bukele says about it, right? Like, let's just get him to clarify what their intent is.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I do like the overall where that country's going, right? Like the trend. Like, is the trend of that country going somewhere nice or somewhere worse?
It's for sure.
It's getting better and better still. It's still great. I think it's
How long are you going to be down there, Travis?
10 days.
Wow, really?
I'm not even taking my laptop because otherwise I'm a psychopath, so I'll work.
Yeah.
Like, I'll wake up in the morning and be like, well, I don't have anything else to do, and I'll just like throw a few hours into work. But I'm not even taking my laptop, so it's just going to be family time, surfing,
coconuts,
swimming in the pool.
Yeah, Bitcoin Beach. That'll be awesome, man.
Yeah,
I've got like a hard plan set. Me and Fritz were talking offline before the show started, and I am like 100% doing everything I possibly can to make sure I'm part of the Bitcoin Golf Invitational next January. So
with Max Kaiser.
Yeah, with Max Kaiser. That looked like such a blast, man. They got a cute little video out about it, and the Bitcoin Sports Network or something like that. I don't know. It's got like 300 subscribers on YouTube, but man, it looked like a good time. And I've never been to El Salvador, so I think that'll be a nice introduction. At least it'll be in January, so hopefully the mosquitoes will be down a little bit because it's only like 95 in January as opposed to 5
a good time to go.
But
when it's winter here.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome, man. That's gonna be a cool little trip. So, are you going to Vegas?
I don't think I am actually.
What?
There's not much chatter about it with the Bitcoin veterans, and I don't really like Vegas anyways.
Oh yeah.
And so I usually only go to those to meet friends and hang out, party.
Yeah.
Like, even the last Bitcoin conference, I got a general admission ticket to that one, and I think I only sat and watched one presentation live, and it was only because like a buddy was on it. It's like I just go there and mingle and drink and party, and it's
that's what it's all about, man.
Like, I could do that more locally, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We tried.
Well, for me, it's like it's not like we can't keep doing our meetups. I've been stupid busy at work. I got a little sick the past month, and I kind of haven't had the energy. Plus, when I do talk to people, and to the extent you call it orange pilling, even when I talk about Bitcoin to people just in my circles and beyond, it's just some of the same old bullshit. And it's like the amount of time or energy I put towards convincing who, and like it's that pendulum that swings for me that like I don't care about orange pilling people. Sometimes you're gonna get it when you get it. But I do enjoy getting together and hanging out.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of a fun vibe, I mean, like, my travel plans this year are pretty much Bitcoin Vegas, Bitcoin Prague, and then next January. And if something comes up in between, I'll obviously consider it. There's like a ton of conferences around the world, though. I mean, like, if nothing else, it feels like kind of a good opportunity to just get out and travel, because like once, I think you pointed it out in Miami, Travis, like, once you've heard, Bitcoin good, fiat bad, like 400 times, you kind of go, well, okay, I get it. Yeah. Bitcoin good. Yeah. Fiat bad. Yeah. Okay. What are we doing now? But But I mean, I just like the environment. I like the vibe. I like, being around other Bitcoiners, and you kind of hear the same conversations over and over again, but it's, it's all good. And you get to see some fun new stuff and little
Yeah.
booths and whatnot. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
meeting
definitely
folks
going
is
to
good.
Vegas though.
Yeah, meeting new folks is good. I would definitely check out Prague. Didn't
Yeah.
consider that, but that city looks great.
Dude, it's amazing, man. I highly recommend it. If you guys have any consideration of going, I would absolutely recommend Prague. I mean, Bitcoin Prague was, I mean, it's another conference, right? It's the same kind of speeches and the same personality show up, and it's got a show floor and all that kind of stuff. But just the vibe and the town, and they're European Bitcoiners, so they kind of got a different vibe about stuff. And yeah, but it was awesome, man. It was a really, really good time. So I highly recommend it.
Consider going there. And the other thing is, if I don't go to Vegas, that kind of like allows me to justify some other trip a little easier, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Vegas
yeah.
is not exciting to me at all. I don't want to go there. But
Yeah.
there is Bitcoin Alaska that a lot of the Bitcoin veteran guys are sponsoring and building. And
Awesome. When's
I
that?
actually would like to go to Bitcoin Alaska just because of the folks that are putting it on. I want to go and support them and hang out with the boys.
Yeah.
But my wife does not want to go to Alaska at all. She hates the cold. And I used to live up there, and I don't like the cold either, but it would still be kind of. So I was thinking about maybe seeing if my father-in-law will go because of the fishing and stuff up there. So I don't know if I haven't committed to that yet, but I was considering Bitcoin Alaska. I think that's in July.
Take it easy, Johnny. Be safe on your drive to San Diego, man.
Yeah, July should be not so cold. I mean, at night it surely could be cooler.
Yeah,
but
I bet it's not. I used to live in Anchorage, and I remember that it's not like there's snow year round or anything like that. But if you're going to spend a lot, like thousands of dollars to go somewhere, I usually want to go somewhere really nice,
Yeah,
or different, like quite a bit different than where I live.
Yeah.
How's your Daniel? How's your move? How'd your move go and your new business? You let
the business, it's almost there. Like I actually ordered everything. It's all coming. It takes a little while to get this manufacturing stuff going, but every part should be in place by like February 23rd or something like that. So I'm hoping March 1, everything will be live and I can just talk about it freely and just be peddling the shit out of my stuff. So yeah,
we'll buy some of that.
awesome, man. Well, I was going to send you guys some anyway. Just, I spent so much time like tweaking it and just refining it and making sure that everything was as good as I can possibly make it. It's a really high quality item. It came out really, really, really great. So I'm really, really excited to get it out there. But
yeah,
just
I'll use it.
Weeks. It's just the waiting part sucks, but the move was fine, man. Like kind of a nice drive. I took some time off and stopped in Vegas. Not really Vegas, but Henderson, because there's like a ton of golf courses around there.
Yeah.
And so I just spent like 2 days at a resort in Henderson, and it was off season, so it was like cheap as shit. I just went out and played golf every day, and kind of got that, coming after that drive through Oregon and a little chunk of Idaho and Utah. It was like butt ass cold and freezing and snow everywhere. And just being out in the sun and the dry air, I was like, oh yeah, I remember what it's like to feel human during the winter. So yeah, it was cool, man. It was a good little journey. And now I'm settled in here for the most part. I was just talking to Fritz earlier about buying some land just south of here. And I think I'm going to get me a little homestead going pretty quick here. But yeah,
it's funny you say that. I want a homestead really bad.
Yeah, dude, it looks like awesome, man.
Our kids aren't getting enough outside time because we live in a big hotel. We don't really have a yard, right? It's easy to stay inside, and they're readers, so they just look at tablets all day. Basically, they're like inside cats. They need more. They need to be. I want them in the woods, right? Carving spears out of sticks and basically being, just wild Indian kids.
Yeah.
And,
I think there's a huge benefit to that, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, like
with animals, like farming, like having some chickens, growing your own food. It's hard to do that here. I have a little tiny backyard. It's not really ideal, but we're kind of committed to this place. But you could buy like cheap land. I know it just kind of depends. Like we don't want to travel very far. We want land close to us,
right?
And we're looking at bare land because it's a lot more It's a lot cheaper, right?
Yeah.
But you also want like a lot of it. But there were some cool deals out there where the zoning sucks, but if it's like far enough away, then it's kind of like, well, I'm just gonna do what I want and get
And
over,
let them come.
but it can be pretty cheap if it's not
Yeah.
zone forestry or something, right? And you can just go park a trailer there and then build your cabin over a long period of time or something, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, that's exactly what I'm looking at here. Like I was telling Travis, I was telling Fritz, like looking at about 20 acres just south of here.
Nice.
But the cool thing is it's a pretty rural county, so they don't have any building codes. They don't even have a zoning office. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they
That's what I
just
want
don't.
to hear.
Yeah, exactly. You still got to adhere to state environmental regulations about things like septic and things like that. But
Yeah. But you probably want to do that anyways.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, you don't want to be sitting there just
Like
like
if you're a
growing,
property owner, yeah.
yeah, disease or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the cool thing is you get out there and, you know, with 20 acres, it's not, you know, like you're not a rancher or something, but it's a pretty good spread. And you're
What
my
kind of
nearest,
terrain is it?
pardon?
What kind of terrain is it? Like
It's
forest?
scrub desert. No, it's all
Scrub
scrub
desert.
desert.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
so it's cheap as shit, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of the nice
You're
thing
gonna have
about
to
it.
make it pretty. You're gonna have to plant trees and shit.
You can, you know, I mean, there's like the whole permaculture thing. And like if you get out there and you spend the next 5-10 years working on it, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of really great permaculture stuff going on, like out in the Jordanian desert and stuff like that, where these people take, I mean, it's like this desert is lush compared to some of the stuff they're growing
Interesting.
out there.
Well, if
But
you have water, if you can like put a well in, I
oh
mean,
no, there's no wells here. This
there's no
all like,
wells, nothing.
oh, you can, but I mean, it's a $50,000 prospect. Like
Oh, you gotta
the
have
water
water.
table is super deep. The
Oh
water
shit.
rights are really, really lame around here, and you got to dig through a bunch of crap to get to it. But there's a
Oh,
lot of ways to do like rainwater capture and stuff like that because you get sufficient rainwater here
yeah.
to sustain something like that, provided you have the proper equipment to do it. So a couple of 5,000 gallon tanks and like a first flush system and a sufficient roof area, and you've got it made. But the first year is a lot of like trucking water in and doing silly shit like that. But once you get
Yeah.
rolling, man, it's not bad, but it's not for everybody. Like it's going to be kind of a hard scrabble existence at first, but that's kind of what I'm into right now, like kind of building stuff with my hands and just sort of because 200 years ago people were out here living and doing stuff and they certainly didn't have like a off-road Prius, so
Yeah.
power tools and battery operated shit. So
Yeah. The hauling water would suck.
yeah,
Probably the hardest thing because you can get solar and you can have your power. You could get your internet out there.
Would
Water
you
is
look at
hard.
any property down in El Salvador? Is that ever an attraction? Like maybe a little spot reserved down there?
who are you asking?
I guess either of you, but Travis is going down there. Are you looking at land at all? Just what that looks like?
It's kind of expensive in El Salvador.
Yeah, it's
Like
getting way more
you
expensive
can
now.
find cheap city lots, but I don't really want to live in a. I don't want like a little lot in a random El Salvadoran town.
Well, and things we're used to, just, I mean, like Marty Bent and Odell and others were, I guess they're in Costa Rica, but they're talking about just, yeah, it's nice and all, and the culture and some of the Pura Vida stuff, but like there aren't so much paved roads, and that alone got old, but just different. But
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. Like, if I could buy like beachfront property in El Salvador, right? But it's gonna be expensive. It's gonna
Yeah,
be like buying a house in the United States.
yeah,
But it'd be cool. Or if you could get like cheap land out in the jungle, out inland, I could do that too, right? But it would be I don't really see any good deals. Like it wouldn't be easy. It'd be like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get acreage and definitely like if you really just want the land, like there are definitely like good options in the United States. Like we
yeah.
were looking at some properties like Missouri and stuff.
Oh
Really
yeah,
green, a
yeah,
lot of acreage, pretty cheap compared to the West Coast at least, right?
the
And
Gulf Coast,
let's face it, it's gonna be a lot easier to move within the United States.
oh so much
yeah,
easier.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Well, I mean, like we're talking about, like you want to get a gun. We're talking about getting a gun, and just you know, like Hawaii would be a nice place to live too if you got some nice land on the Big Island. but their gun laws and some of their other laws, it's like, no, thank you. Having to move them, or can you even have them? The rules around it all. Might as well just go somewhere on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. You know, there's some nice land there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, like Travis said, there's a ton of options here in the United States, and you don't have to. I mean, yo hablo poco de español, pero necesito más practicar. I don't think I could get by on getting some construction rolling down in El Salvador right now, but I could probably order a beer, right? So,
Yo también.
yeah. So, I mean, like El Salvador seems like a great vacation spot. Maybe like a plan B kind of thing if you had just a little thing down there that you could, like a little condo in San Salvador or something like that. That might be something to consider. But, as a summer place or something like that, or just because there's, all the Bitcoin development going on down there. And, but you never know where a country like that's going to go, man. Because like right now you got Bukele in there and they're doing all this stuff. But they're one regime change away from reverting back to God knows what, or have the U.S. go down there and start meddling in their politics again, or I mean, it's like unlimited possibilities when you're outside the U.S. sphere of influence, or I should say within the U.S. sphere of influence. So like the United States, I had a friend a long time ago who was a super prepper guy, and he said, yeah, all these plan B guys, like all I know about the United States is I know the rules, right? I know what I can and can't do, what I can and can't get away with, and I know, the ins and outs of everything. You go to another country and it's just, it's a different rule set, right? And if you're not native born, it puts you at a pretty serious disadvantage. And so we're all native born here, and that's kind of, works in our favor, right? So this is a place where the whole world's trying to come. I don't know
what's cool is you buy beachfront property in El Salvador. It's already fixed up, ready. Maybe you go in on it with a couple other families or something you can trust, like some Bitcoiner families. Turn a little citadel, and maybe you just like go there for a few months every year.
Yeah.
And then you rent it out. You kind of have like maybe a business own it, and you like rent it out, Airbnb it, have someone else manage it. Like that's probably a good route.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope for sure.
All right, it's done. 3 of us. I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
So the 3 of us will buy one. It's done. Done deal.
Hey, why not?
There's things too that, like, if it were just up to me, I could commit to all kinds of great plans. And then when you're reconciling with a wife or family, or the kids are like, are there bugs? And you're like, well, sure, there's lots of bugs. And yeah, anyway.
Yeah, my wife, I'm pretty fortunate. My wife would probably be on board for any large land purchase or
nice
anything tropical. I bet she'd be on board.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, that El Salvador trip's going to be pretty epic, dude. Well, you got to send some pics, man.
Yeah, I'm actually going with my wife's 2 brothers and their families, and her parents are coming too. So there's actually like 16 of us. I think.
Wow.
16 of us, and one big compound, like big house with 8 bedrooms. And so, and that's good. Like we get along with this whole family, right? So it'll be fun.
Well, what's crazy, man, is like I used to work at a company down in Los Angeles, and the supervisor there of the post-production unit that I was in, his wife was Salvadoran. And he said, yeah, man, we went down because he went down there for a vacation with his wife just to see her family and stuff like that. And this was probably 2004, 2007, 2006, somewhere around there, mid 2000s, right? Like, and they had to hire armed guards to protect them, and they had armed guards outside their housing area and all this kind of stuff. I mean, it was a completely different vibe, right? And nowadays it's like, I mean, you can just go down there with your family and feel pretty safe about it. So, I mean, it's a huge transformation for that country already. But
yeah, I mean, the trend is amazing. It's changing very quickly.
Yeah. So, I mean, the security situation is already grossly improved, and like there's so many, it's a destination you can go to now. And back then, like I said, like they had armed guards. They had to have like a little convoy just to drive them around because, their family wasn't like super rich or anything like that, but they were high enough value target that they had to hire armed security to have around them 24/7, So,
yeah, I wouldn't take my kids if that was a situation.
Well, El Salvador is in central time zone. When you're down there, you could join us maybe on your phone or something. I don't know if you have service or not.
Yeah, I could try. I should. Yeah, my hotspot worked great down there. Because I actually last April, I like worked and stuff still, and it
Oh,
was
nice. Yeah, so pretty good service.
Verizon, and it works great down there.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
Huh. That's cool. Well, I don't know. I think we got about an hour in right now. Johnny, I hope you have a safe journey down to San Diego, sir.
Yeah, nice road trip.
It's always good to see you. And for everyone else that came on, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad Travis could join us.
Yeah, Travis, good to see you, sir.
We aimed for about 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time, and sometimes it's later than that. Some of my mornings are random, but
yeah.
Okay.
It's a regularly scheduled slot, right?
I guess so. Yeah, it's we figured out kind of a mechanism to do this pretty well, just to multi-stream and have people join us. So that's cool.
Yeah.
You'd probably be ready for when you go to Vegas. You think you'll maybe have stuff ready, Daniel?
Oh yeah, 100%. That's actually one of the emails I'm sending next week is to talk to the conference organizers and see what it takes to be a sponsor down there or get a booth. I also want to reach out to the Bitcoin Way guys and see if they might have a booth out there or something. I just, I mean, the hard part is like trying to figure out something without having the product out there and seeing, like how much demand there's going to be for it. Because if 3 people want to buy it, it's kind of hard to justify a booth. But if 300 people want to buy it, then it makes a lot of sense, So we'll just kind of see what the response is and see how people are kind of orienting around it and stuff like that. But I mean, it would be ideal for me to like set up a booth at a lot of these conferences and just kind of go around and peddle my wares and, use it as an excuse to hang out and chill with the Bitcoiners and, have some fun.
Yeah, it's a cool move that you have done.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I am jealous in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. You're
man, and you're going all in, and
yeah, well, we'll see. Like I was telling Fritz before, like I'm either gonna go all in and like next year I'll be like best decision I ever made. Yeah. Or I'll be like broadcasting from
one extreme or the other,
box, going like, "Hey, man, you guys got any spare cans?"
Well, one way to look at it is you're kind of there is a benefit to it's like I either have to succeed or I have to succeed. Like there's no other option.
Right. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And so there's like a lot of like stories and historical battles where armies have put themselves in those positions. It's like we're either all going to die or we have to win this.
Yeah. Like the boats are burned, buddy. So
yeah, there you go. There you go. So, but you're instead of charging a battlefield, you are traveling the world to Bitcoin conferences and hanging out with Bitcoiners. Like, oh, how terrible!
I know, right?
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm putting a lot of faith in my ability to promote stuff and figure shit out as I go. But I mean, so far, just the benefits to my health and everything are absolutely worth it. So I'm grateful for the blessings I have, and I obviously am at least human enough to realize the sort of the prices I'm paying for that, like not having a wife and kids and raising a family and stuff like that. So there's trade-offs in everything, man. And, we'll see 30, 40 years from now if I made the right choice or not. But for right now, I feel lucky at least that I can have some adventures and kind of run around. But, when I'm 70 years old and I'm trying to wipe pudding off my own chin and, there's no one there, it might feel like, I probably should have just sat down and kept the day job and had a wife and kids, so.
When you're a whole coiner and it's 2030, 2035, you'll be on some boat with hot chicks, just happy to be there. So
yeah,
it'll all be good.
I can hire some hot chicks to wipe pudding off my chin.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been awesome, man. It's great to see you, Travis. And
likewise.
have fun down in El Salvador, man.
Yeah, I'll try to tune in. I can probably make that happen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude.
Next Saturday.
Yeah, every Saturday, me and Fritz are sitting here chilling.
I'll have a cooler background.
Oh yeah, for sure. Palm trees, little coconut on the head.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome, man.
All right. Well, so it'll be 11 o'clock for you in El Salvador, but I'll send a link.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. We'll see you guys. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.